Okay, so we're I noticed we've done the thing, and I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Uh, and this is another reason I wanted to ask you this is because growing up, the word sex and the word gender were sort of used interchangeably in everyday speak, right? Not in biology class or science class or anything like that, and
Yes.
certainly not at the doctor. But gender was kind of seen as a euphemistic way of saying sex, and
Yes.
because sex seemed a little bit too risque of a thing to say, which is also silly. But there
Yeah.
is a distinction, and I'm curious,
Mhm.
what is gender as far as
So
you're
I,
concerned?
I consider gender to be the felt identity of a person insofar
Mm,
as whether they are male or female or non-binary or some variation.
mhm.
And how can that be disparate from sex? Well, we don't entirely know, is the truth. We don't really know. There probably are a multiplicity of factors, but people whose gender doesn't align with their sex as assigned at birth have been around throughout human history. We know
Yeah,
this. I was saying this earlier. So,
right.
so,
What are
and
some prominent examples of that, actually? Because I'm
uh,
very curious to hear more.
in native peoples in North America, there's something called Two Spirit,
Oh, yeah.
and these are people who seem to exude some of the aspects of males and females. That's why
Uh-huh.
they call them Two Spirit,
Uh-huh.
and that's an ancient, as far as we can tell, experience in those
Gotcha.
people. Hiraji is a group in South Asia who are what most people would consider trans females. They 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 are identified when they're young. Uh, you know, in a stereotype way, we might consider them effeminate males. But then they're raised in this tradition, and they grow up to assume many of the roles of adult females,
Mm,
childcare, homemaking, cooking. Some of them live in communities with each other, and some live with their families and so forth.
yeah.
There's another tradition in Brazil. They're in Portuguese. They're called transvesti,
Hmm.
which is kind of a rough translation of in English transsexual or transvestite, some mix of
Yeah.
those. And these are people largely who are biological males who have this feminine aspect, and they find themselves in communities. I've been with
Mm,
them in Brazil. It's really quite fascinating. They consider themselves women, and operate in society as women. They're not transvestites in the way that we think of maybe in USA, people who are men whose
mm,
identity is male, but they dress up as women sometimes. No, they're people who consider themselves women, but they but
mm.
they in most cases don't take hormones or have surgeries.
Mm.
That's changing a little bit because now these medical approaches are available in Brazil in a way that they weren't until maybe the last 25 years or so.